welcome to another edition of Panel Surfing. I'm Steve Sanu, and sitting next to me is none other than incredible artist Patric Reynolds, who you might know from his work on Aliens, Fire and Stone, trade paperback out now. Patric, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
No problem, man. So, a lot of people know you from Aliens, Fire and Stone, but you've done quite a bit of work for Dark Horse throughout your career. A lot of it actually involves horror, which I think is pretty cool.
Thank you.
What's your process for crafting sort of different levels of suspense in these horror comics? I mean, how does sequential storytelling differ when drawing Fire and Stone versus something like Let Me In Crossroads?
Well, it depends on the story. The first two Alien films are really good at having the environment and the location create the tension. The first Alien movie, Ridley Scott put us in the labyrinth of the ship. And Ripley's running around in those really dark corridors with flashing lights, and the alien could be anywhere. When I was tasked to do Aliens, Fire and Stone, Chris Roberson wrote a story such that there was that also that tension in the environment too. When the survivors get in the onager, they're crowded into this very tiny, basically forklift of a mining vessel. What I tried to do was frame the characters so that there was that tension of monitors, and they're all cramped in this space. And when they get on LV-426, LV-223,
yes,
big difference. That environment is everywhere, and it's jutting into the panels, and it's oppressive. It's unknown, but also juxtaposed with that environment is like the shadows and the darkness, the unknown. And I think that that blackness and that unknown is so much a part of the alien as much as the alien itself. The alien could be anywhere, can jump out at any time. So I think that's where the tension is created in Aliens, Fire and Stone. And Let Me In, I think it was more of that suspense and tension was created more emotionally.
How do you think film, in particular, as a medium, has influenced your approach to illustrating comics?
I love movies so much. In fact, it usually takes me about 4 times longer to watch a movie than it does to normally, because I'm always stopping it and screen grabbing, going, "Ooh, look at that shot!" And so when I was doing Aliens, I don't have the advantage of motion. But what I can do is I can actually have the reader absorb the emotional impact of a close-up. For, say, there was a scene on page 17 where Derek Russell, the main character, sees the aliens jump out of the onager and basically tear his friends apart. And so I knew that I had to get a very specific look on his face, not shock, not horror, but awe, but with a little bit of oh, my friends are going to die. So I had to make sure I had a specific look that would actually let the readers convey a certain emotion. So it's not just a close-up, it's an emotional close-up where you get a sense of what he's feeling just by one image.
Why do you think Aliens continues its relevancy in the modern era? Obviously, it's a pretty old movie by this point, and what do you think continues that appeal for fans and new readers, new viewers?
The things that scared me the most, or the thing that scared me the most when I was a kid was the dark. I didn't know it was in the dark. It could be hiding anything, and that was what scared me, was that possibility. And there's a couple of shots in Alien. You actually only see the alien about 6 or 7 shots in that movie, but you just see enough of it to where it terrifies you. And I think that's a universal thing, where that alien sort of represents the unknown. And I can't think of anything more memorable than the first time you see the alien, its mouth opening and then it just shoots out and then it cuts. That's the most memorable shot I think of that whole series, is just its teeth. It's just boiled down to just this primal fear, this primal thing coming at you and about to eat you.
And with that image burned into everybody's mind, I think that's a good place to end on. Patric, thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.
Be sure to pick up Aliens, Fire and Stone in trade paperback at bookstores and your local comic shop. I'm Steve Sanu, he's Patric Reynolds, and this is Panel Surfing.